Hello, beautiful people. Yeah. If dreams can be manifested, if patience, resilience, and willpower can pay off, if utmost faith in the Almighty can bear fruits, then here I am, breathing and living example of all these and much more. Hi, I'm Hemalatha here, born and brought up in a normal middle-class family from Bangalore, but with abnormal willpower and resilience, as I said. So because of a magnanimous decision by a family to give away their son's organs, donate their son's organs, I got a new lease of life, and I was reborn on 2nd of Feb 2021 after a heart and double lung transplant. So this was my brief introduction. So let me start from the very beginning. I was born on 19th of December 1974 in Bangalore, and at the age of 3, an ear pain took us to the doctors, and there they found that I had a condition called PDA, patent ductus arteriosus, which is in layman's word, it is hole in the heart. And in a very colloquial language, it is just a plumbing issue. So the doctors advised me that I had to go for a surgery, and mechanically the hole was closed in 1977. Post that, my milestones were really good. I was a notorious kid, lot of mischief. To give an example, I had jumped off a 10-foot wall, cheering for a gully cricket right opposite my house. And I used to bite people a lot. And one of the victims was my cousin, who had it real bad. She had my teeth mark, and my father took me and her to the doctor, and the doctor examined her and asked my dad, who is a man of few words. He asked my father, "Yav nai kachidu?" That means, which dog bit her? And my father, without speaking anything, just gestured like this. I was sitting right next to him. So those were the kind of mischiefs, and I've bitten a few, but now I don't anymore because I wear a mask all the time. So the childhood was excellent, and when we reached 8th standard, the family trips cost us my dad's life. He succumbed to brain hemorrhage due to heat stroke. Post that, my mother, being the single parent, has been my friend, philosopher, and guide, the strongest lady I've ever come across. I progressed in my studies very well, and when I reached 10th standard and then the 12th, I thought there was something amiss with me. I used to feel very tired, and when I started climbing up stairs or cycled uphill, I used to feel very weak, and I used to faint. So when we went to the doctor, thinking it was a neurological issue, they found that there was some disturbances in the EEG, and they put me on anti-epileptic drugs. But then we thought we should get this further checked, and went for a review in 1992, I guess, yeah, to my doctor again in Chennai, who did my surgery. And there, after several tests and other things, they found that I had a life-threatening condition called pulmonary arterial hypertension, which was associated with something called Eisenmenger's. So Eisenmenger's is a condition where, due to a hole in the heart, a lot of blood rushes into the lungs. So for a normal person, the blood pressure is 120/80, but in the lungs, it will be just between 25 to 30 mm. But for me, it was 110, 5 times the value. And due to this, all the blood vessels in the lungs had become very rigid. And this was again putting a lot of stress on my heart, and my heart had enlarged. From the childhood, I was a very large-hearted person. So, yeah, jokes apart, it had its own minuses. And the doctor said that it could be managed with medicines at present, but ultimately it would lead to transplant, either single lung or double lung and heart depending on the situation. Faced with a bleak future, but with lot of hope and trust in God, I went ahead with my education and completed my graduation in 1995 and did my post-graduation diploma in 1997. And after that, I think you can change the slide, please. Yeah, so 1998 was the highlight of my life because I landed in a plush job with Sony India Software Center as a software engineer. That was when the boom was just starting, and I was on literally cloud 9 because I was working on the 9th floor of Discoverer building in ITPL. So you know ITPL, right? That was the first IT park which was built in Bangalore, and that was about 30 kilometers away from home. And imagine I could go there in 30 minutes. Can you imagine that now? Well, so my job at Sony was too good. I enjoyed my work there. I was taking care of the warehouses at Sony, Singapore and Tokyo. And the company people had decided to shift me to Singapore office. So my passport was ready and they were working on my visa papers when bang, another roller coaster ride for me. So we were at a team outing at Club Cabana, and while I was engaged in the regular games there, I felt I was not able to breathe. I was feeling choked. So I came back home and thought it was just, a small disturbance. But no, it continued, and the next morning I was absolutely breathless. I just couldn't breathe. So then they wheeled me into the emergency, and after a nuclear scan, they found that my lungs had entirely clotted with blood. And this condition is called pulmonary embolism. And this blood clot was worse than the Silk Board traffic jam. It just cost my life almost. And the doctors gave me some blood thinners and said I had to wait for the clots to dissolve. But along with that, they gave the bad news that hereafter I have to be hooked on to the oxygen for my life because the oxygen in my body was very low. It was just 68%. So they said if this goes on, then heart will give up very soon. So I had to be hooked on to the oxygen. My entire life came crashing down. I just didn't know what to do. One day I am in a very good job, almost thinking of flying away. And next morning I'm lying in a bed with no future ahead. I totally went into depression, didn't know what to do. That's when I met my Guruji, the first angel in my life, Dr. Bananjay Govindacharya. I was listening to his spiritual discourses, and that gave me a lot of hope and faith that yes, there would be a solution for every problem. And I started doing my own research, and I came across a paper clipping where one of the alternative medicine doctor, Dr. Nancy, mentioned that she had cured pulmonary hypertension. So not leaving any stone unturned, I went to her for the treatment. She put me on a rigorous diet, homeopathy, magnetotherapy, and then I guess acupressure and whatnot. But that really helped me. I slowly got my strength back, and I came out of oxygen, and almost became normal. And along with the help of a bit of a Reiki from Mr. Krishnamurti, I started living a normal life. Then, you know that early mind is a devil's workshop. So I didn't want the devil to build a workshop in my mind. So I started a placement company on my own. I had about 2 to 3 IT clients, and I was looking into the recruitment, IT recruitments. I was successful in placing about 6 to 7 engineers and 1 vice president as well. So with all those highlights, things were going fine, when Cupid struck. I met my most wonderful husband, Mr. Kirtivasan. In fact, my mother had given him the responsibility to look for a guy for me. He was our long-standing, family friend. But I guess he took the, task too seriously. And he ended up marrying me, poor guy. But yes, since then, it's been a wonderful courtship. I could have not found a better person for myself. It's a God's blessing. God bless him. So things went on very well. And after that, we thought we could explore a few more, treatment options. So we went abroad. We landed up in UK. The first time, we were there for a short stint for about 8 months. We could meet doctors at Papworth Hospital, one of the best hospitals for pulmonary hypertension, and also met doctors in London Heart. So they were quite astonished because my physical condition and my reports were not matching. So they said, things look pretty good. But one thing they advised was that I had to have nocturnal oxygen. So heeding their advice, we came back to India and again went back in 2009. And we were traveling across UK and Scotland, exploring places. In fact, I did a 13-mile hike as well across Oxford. And that's when, my husband's health took a back seat. He was diagnosed, in fact, by a delayed diagnosis of spine TB, he got paralyzed below neck. So that was like my lifeline was cut off. He was in the hospital and I could not see him the whole day. I was just allowed for just half an hour. And I had to do the entire work by myself. You know how it is abroad. I am the Kamwali, I am everything there. So I had to take care of the entire thing and with oxygen, and we were staying on the second floor, climbing up and down. I don't know, God gave us strength. But after, facing the adversities, luckily, after the treatment, he came back to normal. And we immediately flew back. That's when we realized the importance of being with a family around us, family and friends. And also, we felt how lucky we are to be in India and to be born in Bangalore, After that, things settled down. Because when I think of that episode, even today, it gives me shivers through the spine. As we were settling down back in Bangalore, something very weird started happening to me. One fine day, I had a kind of short circuit in my left finger, pinky finger. Next moment, I lost sensation there. I thought I had just hurt myself somewhere and did not give too much of attention to it. But next day, the same thing happened to my lip, upper lip. Slowly, I started losing sensation, one by one. This literally freaked me out. I didn't know what was happening. It was like I was losing myself, part by part. When we went to the doctors, they said that I was suffering from an autoimmune neuropathy, peripheral neuropathy, which could be a post-traumatic disorder. The trauma that I had gone through UK was taxing me now. And this peripheral neuropathy is where your peripheral nerves are attacked by my own immune system. Peripheral nerves are responsible for body balance, then sensations, then coordination of the limbs and heartbeats and all these things. So I lost my body balance, so that's why you can see me, I'm tipsy all the time. And along with that, I just can't feel any touch. So even while I'm sitting here, I have to make sure that I'm sitting here, I have to be very focused. I can't feel the food in my mouth. I tend to chew my tongue most of the time. So this was a very, very bad phase I was going through. I had anxiety and depression in cycles. So I just didn't know what happened, and this is when Bhagavad Gita was my savior again. I was going through that and I got my strength back, and that's when I met my second angel, Mr. Jan Faria. He's a motivator and a leadership coach, and I had gone to him actually for a counseling session, but he found that I had a very good, he was quite impressed with my positive attitude and took a small video of mine wherein how I spoke about how I face my adversities. This video went viral, and many of the patients who were waiting to take decisions in their life were quite inspired by this. So I took my medicines, that is immunosuppressants for my neuropathy, and continued to give talks, and thought at least I could, do some service to the society. I was going on with my talks when these medicines started affecting my heart. The steroids and other medicines put a lot of pressure on my heart, and slowly it led to failure. So my doctor, Dr. Mehta, advised me that now it was time to meet the transplant team and find their suggestion. So next we went and met the transplant team in Chennai, and there they evaluated me and said I was ready for a transplant in 2019. So I was registered, and they usually the protocol is to call the patients for a counseling session where they talk about benefits and risks of a transplant. I was all ears to the benefits because I know that's anyway going to benefit me. But when they started talking about the risk, I just shut off, because that's not my problem. If something goes wrong, it's the headache of the doctors. So why should I worry about it? One thing I was very sure was, I started giving very positive feedback to my body. The feedback which you get from your mind actually it reaches your body. So your body, which is made up of a single cell, has a lot of intelligence. So you keep talking to your body, saying that, yes, I am going to have a replacement. My heart and lungs will be replaced with new organs, but those organs are mine. It's just that it's in somebody else's body at present, but it's okay. It's going to come to us, and it's going to be one among us. I used to talk to my organs, It might sound very crazy, but it helps. I think all of you should do it. So I started speaking to my organs and saying that we are going to have new friends inside, and we are going to treat it well. So waiting for the transplant, I was busy building up my muscles by doing yoga and physio. That's when 2020 COVID happened and everything shut down. And getting organs also was quite bleak, because unfortunately organs are got from brain dead people. So no accidents were happening, and getting organs were quite early. But on 1st of February 2021, we got a call from the doctors saying a very good set of organs were found in Jaipur of a small boy, and they said that I should come into the hospital. So we went to the hospital. I was pepped up for the surgery, and I was wheeled into the OT, and the organs were airlifted from Jaipur. So I was clamped at for about 4 hours. Clamping is getting myself disconnected from my original organs, and I get connected to a ventilator, artificial respirator. So I was clamped, and after 12 hours of successful journey, I'm saying, of course it was a journey, surgery, I came out of the OT, but then the trouble brewed up. I just could not breathe. For 5 days, I struggled, and my carbon dioxide was going up, and I thought something was amiss. Then the doctors found that there was a huge clot that had lodged itself behind my lungs, and it had folded it up. So it was not allowing the lung to inflate. So there were two options given to my husband. Either we go for tracheostomy, where they bore a hole through the throat and put me on again another ventilator till the clots dissolve, or open me up again and mechanically clear those clots and set right the lungs. So my husband went for an easier option, because recovery is most important. So he said, let us go for the surgery, second surgery. And that's when I was opened up again, and it was mechanically cleared up, and they sewn me up, and after that the recovery has been pretty good. So I was doing my exercises diligently, and in the 6th month I had a fall and broke my hip. I just came out of that as well. I had another attack of COVID and I overcame that, and then I had TB, and after overcoming all those things, I landed up in another job as a as a business analyst and technical writer at Abile Solutions, thanks to my close friend Nilesh Jariwala. And since then till now, I've been working with them. And post-transplant life has been great. I wanted to do something adventurous. So I went ahead and did parasailing at Goa, and then went for hot air balloon ride. And we went, my husband and me went on a road trip across the Malnad region. And we have been doing very good. And now I have my eye on the Himalayas. So I want to go visit there. So friends, this is my life. Till now I have been lived up to the mark, like whatever I wanted to be. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all my doctors. I wanted to put all the doctors together. Yes, there they are. My life saviors. And along with the doctors and the nurses, nursing staff, I owe my life to them. Because of them, I have this excellent life with me again. And so, I have a few takeaways from my life. I follow a few theories. The first one being, you know about this half glass full story, right? It's your perception whether you see a glass half full or half empty. But I look at it at a very different level. I thank God that I have the glass. I have the life, I have the source. Filling it up half or full is now left to you. So I believe that gratitude and love in your heart can take you a long way and give you happiness in each every moment. And also when I face adversities, I give a so what clause at the end. I got neuropathy, so what? I'm still living and breathing and enjoying my life. I went through transplants, so what? I have got my life is still with me. So any adversity, I put a so what. So that reduces the complications. And so these are the few lessons which I would, want to reach you people. And I wish you all good luck. Take care of your health and enjoy your life. Thank you, friends.